Hey all, it is Tuesday the 2nd of June. It is finally not scalding fucking hot here anymore, which is great. It is currently raining quite lightly, but I have like a notepad here. I don't want to ruin my notepad or get my phone really wet. It's like just a little bit of rain. I'm hoping it's not too loud like on this thing, but I mean, it's probably better than other background ambient noise that would normally be interrupting these, so it's probably fine. Yeah. So yesterday, me and AJ got back from UK Games Expo. We went on the Sunday. We damn, what the hell is that? I don't know what the fuck that was. We didn't get a huge amount of time at the convention just because, like, the drive took a bit longer than we expected it to. Oh, that bird. Okay, right. Yeah, the drive took a little longer than we expected. It wasn't a bad drive by any means, but it was like, it just took a while. So we were only ended up really being at the con for about 3 hours or so, like 3, 4 hours. But it was a good time. Like we saw, we got to see a bunch of people that we knew. We didn't have any specific goals in going. Neither of us are particularly like convention people as like attendees. We're just not really like have really like the mindset. And frankly, I don't have like um the like physical capability. Like like I was my we weren't there for that long, and we did take breaks. But oh my god, my ankles hurt so much. Like they kept me up that night. I slept so badly. Um, quite primarily because of a mixture of ankle pain and what I can only assume to be like planes from Birmingham City Airport, which is like just over from the National Convention Center where the UK Games Expo takes place. But yeah, it was a good time. Me and AJ have a friend of ours who is a volunteer there, so we got to see him while he was on break. Um, and yeah, we saw some people that we knew, and we sort of we went there with the express purpose of coming up with an answer as to whether we wanted to table UK Games Expo next year, because monetarily we can afford to do so, but it is a convention on a scale in which not breaking even or doing poorly is going to be like catastrophically bad, right? Like it's the amount like we've been to conventions where the total full everything overhead cost was like £350, and the fact that we only came out having made £300 is like, it's not the end of the world. Like we're still finding our feet, still putting roots down, and we're buying a lot of equipment as well, right? Like that. All of that is for a first couple of cons. That is, as far as I'm concerned, a success. With all is well. No qualms there whatsoever. We're even though technically we're in the red for a convention, like we didn't go in expecting to make gangbusters. That was not what we're still finding our feet. We're still buying a lot of equipment, working out exactly how much stock we need. Like for instance, I have the rain is starting to get kind of loud. I'm gonna lift this up a bit. Like for instance, the stock I bought for Diceni 2025 of Fathomless Bounty and Where Fire Lives, 2 cons later and over a year after that, we still have most of that stock, right? Like I bought way too much, which is fine. It doesn't matter because it's stock. Like we didn't buy an enormous amount that it's impossible to store. Like it's just sat in a box, in like I think AJ has that box somewhere. I have all of the atop across the open threshold, whereas I have an atop and an across adventure now. Like they're both something, the adjective noun, Uh, so I confuse the names a lot, which I really shouldn't do because I wrote one of them and I published the other one. But whatever, I can get mixed up sometimes. That's fine. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we're the conclusion that we came to is that we didn't come to a conclusion, and we got a lot of mixed signals is the wrong way to put it, but like the people that we spoke to, we got very like we got some really helpful information, but it was a lot of like mixed opinions on whether we should go or not. Like, like we spoke to Kayla Dice, and she reckoned that we'd have a really good time at UK Games Expo, and we probably do quite well. And we spoke to Grant Howitt, and he was sort of, we were sort of asking how the con was going for Rowan, Rook, and Deckard, and he was, saying it's like, oh, it's our, second best UK Games Expo ever, which for anybody other than Rowan, Rook, and Deckard sounds really great, but in practice, when you're the size of Rowan, Rook, and Deckard, you're the size of a company where you kind of need perpetual, like, you're starting to hit the cusp of like needing perpetual growth. So your con not being the best iteration of that con is like kind of like a soft loss in a way, which is a really interesting thing to hear about. That like obviously like my notepad is fluttering all over the place. Rowan, Rick, and Deckard are obviously like a long fucking way up the ladder from from us. But it's interesting to see where that like where that where you're like officially in the deep end in terms of like being like a company, as it were, starts. It was like really interesting to hear. I spoke to some folks from the UK Tabletop Industry Network, because I had I think I posted about this probably just on Blue Sky, but I had some copies of Fathomless Bounty there. And I went on the Sunday. One of the reasons that I went on the Sunday was so that I could pick up the remaining stock from them, so that we didn't have to fuss around with shipping costs. So I could just go at the very end of the con and be like, here's one less thing to put in your suitcase on your way home. I'll take these off your hands. And they sold over 3 days, one copy. Bearing in mind, those 10 copies were the holdovers from the 10 copies I sent them for the last con that they went to, in which they sold, 2 cons, 4 days of conventions, 1 sale out of 10. Mikhail, the guy who's running the stand, who I've like known, been sort of like friendly acquaintance with, I guess is like the best sort of words with for quite a long time. Yeah, and he's generally a really great guy, was saying like he was struggling to sell his own adventures that he had at the stall as well, and it just seemed like UK Games Expo was just not a good crowd for system neutral adventures, and that was like, like obviously like they had a table with all sorts of stuff on it, and they weren't necessarily in a position to like sell Fathomless Bounty, like really sell it. But like those words in and of themselves, like when his stuff is there and he can talk about his own adventure to people, that's all we do. So if system neutral adventures don't sell well at UK Games Expo, we probably shouldn't go, because that's all we fucking sell right now. Obviously, the situation is different, but that was a lot of like, should we go? Kind of thing. I'm really not sure. We're basically gonna see how Norwich Games Convention in August goes, because we're gonna have a lot more stock. We're gonna have more free stuff. If whatever tiny chance someone is watching this is A, in the UK, B, is interested in going, C, is in the area with the capacity to go, Norwich Games Convention, it is late August. It's at the Norfolk Showground. We will be there. We will have at least 5, hopefully 6 adventures for sale. There will also be print copies of one or more of my one-page adventures. I am very probably going to be giving those away for free. Frankly, I haven't decided. Like I might sell them for like $2 or whatever. Like, and then give some to people for free. There might be like a like a free reward or something like that. I don't know. We're still working it out. But primarily, I'm just tempted to just be like, here is, take this. It's free. Is very possibly what I'm going to do. Haven't decided though. It's going to be we're going to make that decision nearer the time because we've got at the very least all of this month and most of next month before we need to make any like concrete big decisions. Though I should be ordering stock of Rise of the Mole Man and Atop the Dragon Summit soon because we don't have any physical copies of that, particularly like quality like Mixum prints. Because the Fathomless Bounty and Where Fire Lives prints we have are from drive-through, and they're very expensive. They were like very not cost effective for us to buy. I was I was pointed to Mixum by Taran Pounds, and their service of the one time I have ordered from them, their service was very very good. They got me books in a week, and they were all really really good print quality, and they were cheaper as well. Like it's if you're like there are lots of good printing companies out there. But I can say Mixum is good. They also then they're not just US based because most of them are. Most of them are just based in the US, and you have to pay through the nose to have them shipped. Mixum do have locations like printing locations in the UK, and I believe they have them in the EU as well. I'm not 100% sure on that last part. But yeah, the that was UK Games Expo. That is us maybe going next year. But yeah, I'm just going to see how NGC goes, how Dragon Meet goes. We'll have to buy UK Games Expo tickets before Dragon Meet, which I'm a little worried about because if Dragon Meet is the real barometer, if we do badly at Dragon Meet, we just shouldn't be going to UK Games Expo. We will have already bought our table by then, so yeah. that's my sort of concern there. But we'll see. Right, I'm just gonna shift my leg because my leg is going dead. There we go. Yeah, otherwise last week I was just really stressed about going to UK Games Expo, frankly. I did not do a lot. I've not made any more progress on Heather and Gauze and Fire, but I did on Friday release Slime Sunday. One thing I'm noticing more and more is the one-page adventures getting more and more diminishing turns on in terms of traction on itch. There is a helicopter directly over my head. It's almost gone now. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So yeah, I've been noticing the one-page adventures getting diminishing turns and returns in terms of traction on itch. Just not worrying per se because I like writing them. Like that, writing them is fun. If I didn't like writing them, I just wouldn't. Like that, it is my itch for the fact I haven't written any other adventures in at least 6 months at this point. Like I just haven't written a single adventure other than the one-page adventures in well over 6 months at this point. Probably more than that, I think. The adventure I was writing last year that I decided to push to October this year, I think I wrote around October, November time last year. It's called Bargaining with the Beast. It is a deeply unpleasant horror adventure about a circus. There are demons, and there's there's an evil ringmaster. The whole that what it's about. You can infer the rest. A lot of the tropes are present, and there's some new horrible, awful shit. Yeah, it's probably the most fucked up thing I've ever written, and I will be probably sometime over this summer actually starting on like editing the thing, like going back through and making some changes. I'm hoping in sort of August time I'm going to be able to start writing that hex scroll I want to write. Heather and Gauze and Fire is going to be my first test, my first time writing a hex scroll. I've got some reading to do. I've got some hex scrolls I need to read. To like get a sort of a vibe. I need to read some modern hex scrolls and some old ones to really get sort of a vibe of like exactly how they present their information. Because that's the one thing I'm like not super confident I know how to do. How hex scrolls handle density of content. Like Heather and Gauze and Fire is very heavily inspired by Swamp World by Brad Kerr, who is probably my favorite adventure writer. Just period. He's unimaginably good, and also just generally he's just a funny guy. The and that has sort of an interesting thing where you're expected to traverse the hexes, where there's because it's like a pamphlet adventure. It's very very short or very very small in terms of word count, um, but it has, maybe like, off the top of my head, I want to say there's maybe like 30 hexes, like 31 hexes. It's like a row. It's like a row of three, and then I think it's. I'm not sure if it's 10 down. It might be like 5 down. It's a relatively small hex area. It's not particularly big, and there's only really like 7 hexes with specific occupied locations, and that's kind of what I'm going for Heather and Gauze and Fire. Like, that's easy. Similar sort of scale of adventure. Um, but For this other adventure, which still doesn't have a name. It's about a wyvern, basically. There's going to be other stuff in it, but it's mostly just about a wyvern. The idea is, I think I've talked about it on here before, is about making a monster that's generally very mundane really scary by making it act like a real predator and giving GMs guidance on actually how to run the creature, how to use it, and how to run it in a way that's like semi like realistic. I think I've definitely talked about it on here before. That's like something I'm hoping to write later on this year. Yeah. In terms of Slime Sunday, I'm happy with how the adventure turned out. I still think it's like a little sparse in terms of danger, but I do like how open-ended it is. It's probably the most open-ended of all of these one-page adventures that I've written so far. It really can go any number of ways. You can explore the dungeon. It's not really a dungeon. It's a building with some dangerous things in it. But you can explore the building in a number of different ways. There's a lot of ways you can get in. The you know the that thing is like jacquaized to hell. I say I say that. There's 3 entrances, which is, you know, that's more than one. It has multiple entrances, which is people like dungeons with multiple entrances. There is a sliding door, there's a locked door, and there's a skylight on the roof. And skylights on the roof, those are great. Stole that from Brad Kerr too. Yeah, I really like Slime Sunday just in terms of like vibe. But I don't know if it's like my favorite of these. I think it remains my biggest frustration. I think it probably is starting to become a frustration, actually, that all of my one-page adventures, I don't like any of them nearly as much as I liked Order of the Well. It's like not even remotely as much. I think it's just because a lot of the adventures I've been writing have been very high concept. They've been very like, I have a very specific vision of like, I know what the adventure is and not necessarily what it contains. Whereas Order of the Well was, there is a well and there's a daughter in it, and she's like a monster, very heavily inspired by Vermis, because I love Vermis so much. It's so good. I believe, yeah, it's Vermis 1, Vermis Mr. Mirrors. Has It's the Goblin Queen's second daughter, whatever. It's a daughter who lives in a hole, because she was put there because she's a horrible monster, and that's the thing. That's the reason. And I'm still like, I want to try and, obviously, you can't like chase, like a spark of an idea that was just good because it was just a good idea, right? Like, you can't just go chasing that, like the feeling of that. But I really want to try and like, I feel like Heather and Gauze and Fire isn't going to be that just because it's a hex crawl. It's a fundamentally different kind of thing. Um, but I feel like there are definitely other adventures I have in the works that could be that. I think I need to get less high concept with some of my dungeons. Make something a little more down to earth, maybe. Because I think that is part of the reason why I like Daughter of the Well so much, is it's just kind of grotty and grimy and very down in the mud in a very literal sense. Um, it's like, it's not the grossness that helps it; it's the simplicity. It feels more real because it's gross, but not the grossness itself. Is, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know if you can hear that. It's somebody doing the flute real loud. I'm not sure what's up with that. Oh, I'm losing my notebook. Hang on, I'm gonna hold my umbrella with one hand. Nope, that's... There we go. There we go. I should do that again, actually, and like swap back to the page that has all my notes on it. Oh, this is a very unfortunate angle. There we go. But yeah, I'm otherwise I'm nearly done with the first half of that book I've been editing, like somebody's novel. I've been about halfway through. I'm almost halfway done, which means I'm almost halfway because the contract is that I get paid half once I'm done with the first half, which is great because that's a grand I would really like right now. I'm hoping to use the funds from editing this thing to buying a new computer. Because as hideously expensive as computers are right now, my computer is really on its last legs, and it is probably I like every time I turn it on, I run the risk of it just being destroyed. Like I have all my important, like most important stuff backed up on the cloud. Like that's fine. Like I have some physical backups as well, though those are very outdated. But yeah, it's not the end of the world. But I'm looking forward to buying a new computer with that money because $3 grand, buy a decent computer. But yeah, I'm gonna head off here because there's somebody getting very close with a dog, and I really don't want to have to deal with that. So yeah, hope people are having a good week and are able to finish the things they want to finish. I will hopefully be back next week. So yeah.